Today, we have folks in studio to tell us all about Faribault's Crazy Days, which is coming up this weekend. We have Bruce Burkhartzmeyer with us, Nort Johnson is with us, Gary Lazars is with us, and Jeremy Chavis. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Wow, I said it right. Bruce, I should give myself a gold medal or something. Hey, thanks for coming today, Bruce. Certainly appreciate it.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you.
And you probably, well, we'll get to that a little bit later. But Nort,
Gordy.
You're with the
Chamber of Commerce
program.
and Tourism Main Street program. You bet.
They're kind of involved in this.
But we get the pleasure of working with these guys to help organize these kind of events.
Yeah.
So.
And it was this guy over here, right, that said, let's bring this back, or?
Oh yeah, Jeremy, absolutely. Bruce kept it going for quite a while downtown.
Right.
Jeremy's got this passion for it, and between those two and several others that help out, we're having a nice Crazy Days this year.
And it's kind of ironic because I didn't coordinate this at all, but I, in my posting, talking about today's show, brought back the memory of Jim and Joe's. And who do we have in the studio but Gary Lazar?
Well, Gordy, I guess that's why I'm here. I'm a ghost of Crazy Days past.
I like that. I like that. We'll put that official label on
Okay, okay. I guess that's as close as I can get to it.
Do you recall when all this started?
Again, Jeremy kind of brought it up. In 1957 is what they thought was it. I knew it was late 50s is when it was. And like I said, we're going to take credit for it because I believe that Faribault was the town that started Crazy Days. That's what the history says. And again, unless somebody wants to go back and try to, verify or deny that, we're just going to say that's what it was. That's what I was always told by my mentors and the others when I went to Jim and Joe in like 1971. That's what I was always told.
Well,
again, and they're bragging about it, so we're going to take credit for it.
I was relating on my post today, promoting today's show, how much when I first moved to Faribault in 1987, I enjoyed all the great savings I got at Jim and Joe's out on the table. I got a year's supply of underwear.
No, that's for sure. But and again, Crazy Days at that time was a great time for a lot of retailers to get exposure. But for a lot of people back then, back to school was later. They're really, you always had a clearance sale after Christmas, but in the summertime you really didn't have anything to do. And so that's where it really started. Again, for like clothiers and Bruce down at Burkhartzmeyer's, the main thing about that was a great time just to get rid of your merchandise and get ready for back to school and fall.
Well, it's really the end of the season. I mean, in retail, that's kind of when spring and summer is done, because then August comes and you're really starting back to school. So Crazy Days is always the final end when you really wanted to move everything out, be done, get rid of it. You put crazy prices on, you just wanted it gone. And for those kinds of merchants, Crazy Days was really important. Well, and it still is. It's just we don't have as many of those kinds of merchants anymore. But for those of us that are left, it's still a really big deal.
And as a merchant, you hope that they buy some other things too, right?
Well, sure, of course, anything to get them in your store. But it was Crazy Day was really about the values, back in the old days.
Well, Nort, you can relate to this. You were a kid growing up in Faribault.
Absolutely.
Crazy Days.
Crazy Days was a big deal then, and it's kind of a big deal now. I'm looking at our participant list, and Jeremy and I and a few others talked early on this year, decided citywide, not just downtown, and we've got some from all around town. We'll hit up the list maybe after a little bit, but it still is about the fun as well.
And if memory serves me right, and of course as I get older my memory seems to be fading, but the crowds were pretty big.
Well, back in the day, as Bruce could, back in the day, we are getting old. But they used to close off the streets, and so it would be the 400 block, the 300 block, the 200 block for sure. And I mean, it was wall to wall. I mean, people. I mean, I wish they had pictures of how it used to be so crowded back in the day. But as I mentioned earlier, back in the day, that was pretty much everything was downtown, at that time. So it wasn't hard to do that. But
you're talking 50s now and 60s.
50s
right?
and 60s. I remember as a kid coming down. It was 70s. I think actually really up until the 80s. I think it really, it was a big deal. And again. And I never really got into the costume part, but there was a lot of stores that really got into it, had crazy costumes, and they used to have prizes and stuff like that, and for the goofiest looking store or whatever you wanted to say. But they really did put on a great show. And then all the restaurants would get involved.
Right.
They'd be bringing stuff in the streets.
Will be set up
September's
with
up
their
$1.35 at
selling luminaires.
$142.47.
They might even have
And
a table
hogs are
set up so
lower
you can
under
decorate
cash
them
and
on the
wholesale
fly.
pressure.
So while you're
Burke's
on the
lost a
pub crawl,
couple,
you can buy your
about
luminaire
$6
and
over the
decorate
last
it.
few days, with
Throw a
closing more
frozen
than
turkey.
$4 lower yesterday. August is down
And,
115 now at 70.52,
Beaver
and
toss
October's
game is going
150
into
lower at
signatures.
59.55. John
Okay.
We're
Perkins,
bringing the beaver
Round
toss
Field.
back.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Your opening market report is a service of your KDHO Agri Boosters, including Ag Power Enterprises, your John Deere dealer. They have locations in Owatonna, Hollandale, Belle Plaine, also in Osage and Northwood, Iowa. And Northland Buildings for quality post-frame construction. Go to the website northlandbuildings.com. In fact, I see a building over in my neighborhood. T-corner from Bliss Ford going up, and it's a Northland building that's going
Nice.
up over there in my neighborhood. Not sure exactly where that is. They get their financing at the State Bank of Faribault, is what the sign says.
It's Bauer Restoration. Is
Oh,
putting
Bauer
up.
Restoration's
Right.
going over there.
They're
Okay.
moving from across the street.
Yeah, across the street. Not much of a move there, but beautiful new building, Northland building going up right there. So if you want to see what Northland Buildings can do for you, you might want to go over and see that go up.
Nice. Love to see the investments, right?
Yeah.
Anytime we're building, we're doing well.
Absolutely. In studio today are folks talking about Crazy Days, which is this weekend in Faribault. We're going down memory lane a little bit with Mr. Lazars and Mr. Burkhartzmeyer. We're talking about what's happening. Well, Nord too. He's old like the rest of us. The young buck in the group though, is Jeremy, who a couple of years ago, I remember when you came on the show and it came back, you said you had fond memories of this as a child, and that's why you wanted to bring it back too.
Yeah, definitely. I can remember as a kid my dad owning the Faribault Vacuum and Sewing Center, coast to coast next door, and then you get onto Central and it was just everything from wall to wall. Jim and Joe's, B&B Sporting Goods, Burkhartzmeyer's, just from one end to the other of Central was just packed with retail, and I can remember clowns and unicycles and one of the other gentlemen had mentioned, just packed streets and sidewalks. Now I seem to remember more recent days having packed sidewalks and storefronts that had a waiting line to get in, or at least to the counter. So and that's what we're shooting for again. The retail has changed over the years, but the retail we do have, there's a huge participation in the Crazy Days that we've got going this year, and so hopefully we can get that participation from the community and other surrounding communities. So really looking forward to it this weekend.
Yeah, some of the businesses have changed. Obviously, you guys are still there, Faribault Vacuum and Sewing, and one of the anchor stores downtown, Burkhartzmeyer's, is still going too.
Correct. Yeah.
So look at right just a block from here. Some other participants this year. I mean, Chappie Jewelry's been in this thing for
Yes.
a really long time as well. I think we caught up a few weeks ago, and I just happened to mention I've known all three generations. The Chappie family grew up right across the street from me on 8th Street Northwest, and I knew Ernie. Ernie passed, I think I was probably 6 years old, but I do remember. So, and Nate's got it going on down there. They've got some awesome specials, I know that. Creating a Ruckus right across the street, another great retail outlet participating, and good deals. Good deals. Check out Facebook, Main Street, Faribault Main Street Facebook page, and we've got deals from all the participants posted up there.
Oh, okay. They list what they're doing.
Yep.
As well as faribaultmainstreet.org.
Yep.
A lot of different stuff listed up there. I know Keeper's Antique, they actually had some restoration, cleaning out some old farmhouses, third or fourth generation farmhouses, and found some really neat stuff that they're going to be having sidewalk sales as well as wheeling and dealing inside the store on some of those things. And Nona actually took sole ownership, I think, in the last year. So she's down there with Bill Boys and another downtown familiar face. So
Yeah. Bring back some more memories.
B&J, Jeremy's local competition just down the street from there, also participating. They're going to have specials going on. And we're doing a couple of other things. We were talking while the market report was on. We've got this Paint Your World Purple window decorating contest. Gary mentioned that he thought it was pretty cool that we're coordinating a few things with that. So, Jeremy, you want to fill us in on the purple window decorating contest?
yeah, so we put our heads together back probably early to mid-spring and said, the Relay for Life is a big event. Brings in a lot of people from outside communities for the relay itself. and how can we coordinate these two events. And their theme this year, Paint Your World Purple, we're kind of passing that on. It's part of our Let's Go Crazy Citywide Crazy Days. And so we're doing a purple window decorating contest for the Paint Your World Purple theme. And then we've got some volunteers from the Relay for Life going to be volunteering at the American Legion for the frozen turkey bowling.
Yep, the American Legion's bringing frozen turkey bowling back to the Purple Pub Crawl, that's tomorrow night.
Correct.
So, and that's a blast. Last year was our first Crazy Days pub crawl and bar games, and we had 5 participants last year. We've got 5 downtown establishments in again this year. So you sign up at Grandpa Al's anytime after 5. You can start your way around to the other establishments starting at 6 o'clock, and there's a game at each one. We had a really popular game at our Main Street event, our fundraiser this year, which we had at F-Town, and that game was beaver toss competition. So we're setting the beaver toss competition up at Signatures this year. Frozen turkey bowling down at the Legion. What are we doing at Al's?
Al's is beer pong.
Beer pong at Al's.
We've got the life-size Jenga game down at F-Town.
Well, they're doing Hammerschlagen.
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 Yeah, we do that in Kenyon every year during those days.
And then blindfold beanbag toss at Boxers, I think we've got
Yep,
going on.
that sounds right. Yep. And some
See-
great prizes too.
Yeah. What's our grand prize?
Grand prize is a pair of Twins tickets sponsored by Faribault Foods. It's for a September 20th game, Twins versus the Detroit Tigers. So looking for an upset
We had
there too.
Yeah, we had a tablet donated again this year, right?
Tablet from Ron's Pond. We've got some gift certificates from Carriage House Liquor, Boxer's Bar.
We're gonna have some cool Faribault T-shirts.
Great prizes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about the prizes as it is as much about just getting out, having fun, being safe, and having a good time. So, and I hear Tony
Yep.
Langerud is going to be.
Tony's going to help us out with our sober cab home. Those that stay a little longer and need a safe way home. Tony's going to help sponsor those out again this year. So
That's great.
That is good.
You know anybody who could donate a vacuum for a prize?
I hear there might be some handbags down there.
Might
maybe
be a
some-
hand vacuum or two for prizes as
some
well.
other cool little prizes from the Faribault Vacuum and Sewing Center.
No, there are prizes for the best scores, but everybody goes in the hat for the grand prize.
Correct.
So no matter how good or bad you hammerschlag or turkey bowl, you've got a chance to win the Twins tickets. So that'll be fun. And sign up again. That's at Grandpa Al's starting at 5.
Tomorrow night. So we'll
Tomorrow
see you
night.
there.
Minimum of 1 drink at each one of those establishments. You'll probably need the Langerwood ride home.
I would say that's not a
That's a
bad
safe
idea.
bet.
I would say that would be a good suggestion to take
Yeah.
up Mr. Langerud on his generous offer.
Yes, that is very nice. He did that last year too.
He did that last year. You know, before we did the event last year, Jeremy and myself and Kelly K. Rage, who helps us out with this a little bit, also met with the police chief and the sheriff and said, you know, we want to do this downtown, and we think that if we provide these rides home, that it'll be acceptable.
He's a busy banker.
Busy banker over there,
Sorry
and
about that.
they appreciated that, and I'm sure they're going to appreciate it again this year that we're doing it the right way.
Well, Bruce, what are your earliest memories of this down at Burkhartzmeyer's?
Well, I remember the costumes. We used to have, I'm sure a lot of people remember or know Becky Ritchie. She actually is the manager over at Farmer Seed Nursery. But in her early days, she was actually our secretary at the store. And she loved to sew and stuff, and she would make us these crazy costumes. And one year we were all dressed up like Buster Brown. With the yellow hair, and she made the.
You got pictures of this?
Yeah,
I'd love to see
it was really fun, but she had some great costumes for us over the years, and that was always a lot of fun. You know, the costumes were a big part of Crazy Days back then, and people took a lot of pride in what they were dressed as. But you know, like everything, it changes a little bit, and you know what's really fun about this. What I really want to thank Jeremy for is he's really taken this and making this an event. You know, and expanded it beyond just the merchandise into just a fun time for everybody, and that's what we need, is just to get people downtown and stuff, and you know, there's great bargains, but there's also just a lot of fun things going on, and you know, so the it's changed a little bit over the years, but it's still great. It's a great time for everybody. It's just a fun time to be downtown Faribault, and it's really all of Faribault. That's the other thing. We actually worked with the mall this year to coordinate. I know we had several meetings, and the mall manager was there and stuff, and we opened it up to on some of the side streets like 4th Street. There's some there, and I see LeCan's Marine is there, Floyd's Trailer Sales, J&J Bowling, A&W. These aren't, they're not at the mall, they're not downtown, but they're still involved. So it's really become a citywide thing. So just encouraging everyone to come to Faribault for a couple of days and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those other around town retailers, LeCan's Marine, A&W, Floyd's Trailer Sales, and J&J Bowling. I know Floyd's Trailer Sales has some great specials on trailers this weekend. J&J Bowling is doing $1 games and $1 shoes Friday and Saturday, which is huge. A&W, they've got some specials on their website, and keep your eyes open for some sneak previews of what they've got going on for Crazy Days as well.
Was LeCan's giving away a boat or anything?
The cans, I know they're going up to $250 off some of their trailers for this thing, and every trailer will have at least a $50 discount. So I happen to know that one off the top of my head. That's pretty good.
Great deal. What are you doing down at Burkhartzmeyer?
Well, we have a lot going on. We actually, this is really the end of our women's summer sale, so we probably have maybe 200 pair of women's shoes left, and they're all marked $10, $20, $30, $40. I mean, just crazy prices, but we want them gone. We just got a big batch of winter boots in yesterday, and I always say I hate getting winter boots in July. I like getting sandals in February, but I hate getting winter boots in July. It's just depressing as heck. But we need the space for them, so we want this stuff gone. So that, and then we really kind of kick off back to school as we have probably 1,000 pair of athletic shoes out there from all of our brand names, and they're 20, 30, 40% off. So it's really a great time to bring the kids in and start thinking about back to school and stuff too. So. And then all of our kids' sandals start at $10, all of the men's sandals. So all of our summer stock we're really moving out to get rid of, and then kind of kicking off back to school. And I think this celebration kind of goes through next weekend, and we're calling it, what, Crazy Day?
The
Encore,
back to school encore sale.
Encore really kind of focus on starting back to school shopping and stuff too. So we're kind of making it a week-long celebration, and so we'll really kick in with back to school for next weekend.
And I'm sure you'll jump on the, not the purple theme, but back to school backpacks, things like that.
Could be. Well, it'll be purple actually all the way through. Relay for Life is actually
next week,
the 5th and 6th, yeah. So, and that's when the window decorating contest will kind of come to a conclusion. I guess it'll be Saturday next week. So everyone will keep their windows decorated for a full week, and off you go. So when you're down by Burkhartzmeyer's, finally a gift store is having specials, and you mentioned your women's shoes, and I know that Creating a Ruckus is putting some racks up there, like some of them up to 60% off, so you can get an ensemble to go with your new shoes when you wander down the street.
Mr. Fashion here, Gary.
Well, they do a good job. I just wanted to compliment, and first I wanted to also kind of piggyback on what Bruce said. The main thing about Crazy Days that everybody remembers, even when we worked it and all that, it was fun. It was a community event. You saw your neighbors. Everybody came down. Of course, people are there for different reasons. Everybody wants a bargain. Everybody wants to eat some food, do all that kind of stuff. But I just want to comment and compliment these gentlemen for doing a fine job of keeping this thing going. It's a tough retail environment out there. You got a lot of competition. And again, for Faribault and for the community, these guys have done a great job, in my opinion. And again, it is a fun event, and it's always just something good to go to.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Gary, because the bottom line here, gentlemen, is we want to keep people local and get people to shop in Faribault, because it seems easier now than it was back in the day to just go up the 30 miles up the interstate rather than staying here.
Yeah, or log on in your living room, right?
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
I forgot about the online shopping, because I don't do any of that really, but
there's still there's such a great environment downtown. I think people are migrating back toward that a bit, and other events that we're doing down on Central Avenue, the car cruises, for example, just kind of knocking that out of the park with letting people know, and they're showing up. I mean, the last one we had, it wasn't just the car guys, the gearheads. We had people walking dogs and pushing strollers and having cotton candy and getting a sandwich.
The food was a big addition.
Absolutely. So we've got 2 more of those coming up downtown in August. So dial it in. Come on downtown for those as well.
And the last one, you had over 100 vehicles, right?
We did. We had over 100 for the last one. A couple of that have been around for a while. Thought that could have been the biggest one we ever had. and we filled up 2 full blocks both sides and had vehicles parked down the middle, and others that had to park around the perimeter because we were full up. So we're going to open, we've got the city approval for another half a block at least that we had pre-approved in case it grew, so we're going to need that at the next one.
Great.
Going back to the good food, sorry to change the subject, but
Hey,
I
no
wanted
problem.
to throw out
I'm
there.
always wanting to talk about food.
Well, Crazy Days and food. Community Co-op is actually getting involved this year, and they were trying to coordinate what they can pull off, but they're going to be doing a free milkshake with any fill-up at the Co-op. So grab your milkshake at Co-op, come on downtown, and you know, check out one of the local establishments for a burger or a snack, and Children's Exchange is in on the window decorating contest just down the road from Bruce, kind of near the south end, and
So I got to drive around the next couple of days to get my gas tank down to E so I can go fill up and get a
don't
milk.
have to be on E, you're on your honor. So if you've got 3/4 of a tank, a fill up is a fill up. So they want to promote their new shake machine and get that rolling.
They just added that shake machine. They hosted the Co-op hosted a business after hours and introduced their new shake machine. And I don't know how many flavors can you get out of that. Isn't it like 20 different flavors or something?
Wow.
They have all these different toppings you can put on it and make different flavor shakes. It's really fun. It's quite good.
I saw that the Cheese Caves had sneak previews of Crazy Days already this week. I think they were doing like $1.50. I want to say Gouda cheese wedges. I'm not certain.
It's actually one of their blue cheeses.
St. Pete's.
$1.50 St. Pete's blue cheese.
Sure.
For a 4-ounce wedge. That is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
That is crazy.
And that's just a
That's
taste
Plum
of what's
Local.
yet to come. No pun intended. But
Yeah. Yeah, Shelly and I actually dipped in there last night. They've got a supply in there. I don't know how long that'll last, but yeah, another good special. Another good reason to stop downtown.
Yep, I love their cheese curds.
Lemonade stand at Big Brothers and Big Sisters, I believe, tomorrow. But also Mojo to Go out by the mall is going to be doing some great lemonade and hot coffee as well as frozen coffee. So just across
Sounds
the board.
like the participation rate is
It's
very good.
huge, yeah.
It is really good this year, and we appreciate it, to be sure. You know, we're it's in promoting it. You know, we bought some radio. We've got this great full page ad going on in the paper, and in order to keep up with those that are electronic, which is growing and growing, we've got some great exposure now going on both Facebook and on our website. So
Now in the past, this was, correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce and Gary, in the past this was always a sidewalk.
Yes, it always has been a sidewalk, and it used to be just a one-day thing back in the old days. It was a Saturday event only. But what we found with that, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get ready for Crazy Days, and boy, if you got rain or something and wipe the day out, so we kind of made it a 2-day event just to kind of hedge a little bit weather-wise and stuff. But,
And at one time, a few years, it was a 3-day event. The other thing that I also want to compliment these gentlemen on, it's not real easy getting all your businesses to kind of come onto the same page.
Yeah.
So that was always a debate. Should it be 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, things like that. So again, these guys they work their tail off just to get everybody involved, agree to when it's going to be, and have a good time.
Got to make it happen. You just can't sit around, get all of us together and do something fun and exciting. So
Sounds like a great time, so let's all go crazy this weekend for Crazy Days, which again is tomorrow and Saturday.
tomorrow and Saturday, and then the
pub
back to
crawl is tomorrow
school,
night.
the encore sale will be, it's the 5th and 6th, right, the following week.
Friday, Saturday, yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and then tomorrow night's the Purple Pub Crawl. And now, some volunteers from the Relay for Life Committee are going to be running the frozen turkey bowling. I think we talked off the air briefly that they were going to set up so that you can actually buy your luminaires at the American Legion during the frozen turkey bowling and decorate them. So that's a little bonus, a little extra
sure.
coordination. So.
We got time for a couple more shout outs to
You
some
bet.
other locals. Faribault Farm and Home out by the mall is doing some tool sales. Everything in the store on sale at some point in time. Studio 14 Salon, Paradise Gift Store and Paradise Center for the Arts, Pond, Minnesota downtown Central Avenue, as well as Fairway Foods got on board and got involved this year. So we're looking forward to all the great retailers and food vendors and all the above out at the mall. Grace Bible Church, And I guess since we're talking Encore and back to school, A&W is also doing free root beer floats. I have to look for the details, but 2 to close on Saturday the 6th, I believe. So it's amazing. The following, yes. So.
All right. Well, we should cross the $2 million mark raised at the Relay for Life this year. We're very close, and if we have a normal year, we'll cross the $2 million mark, and I'm looking forward to that next Friday night.
That's fantastic.
Need a lot of help, though. We need you folks to come out.
They'll be selling luminaries down at the American Legion with the frozen turkey bowling. They'll be volunteering for that game and raising money for that cause as well. So
Hope to see a lot of people there in the fairgrounds next Friday night into Saturday morning when they do the closing ceremonies. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming in. I guess I do have a couple minutes left. If there's anything else you guys wanted to add on the whole crazy theme.
Come down and enjoy.
and look us up, at faribaultmainstreet.org, like Nort had mentioned. Check out the Facebook page. There's 2 events on Faribault Main Street's Facebook, the Crazy Days as well as the Crazy Nights Purple Pub Crawl, and get some more details there. If there's anything we missed, check it out. Post something, ask a question. Love to see all you guys downtown and citywide. Crazy Days.
Absolutely. Come down and see. There's been some work on some buildings downtown, by the way.
I noticed.
And for those that didn't know, I hope everybody does, but Faribault has the largest historic district in the state, except for St. Paul. So if you think about how large St. Paul is, we're second place to them, ahead of everybody else. That's pretty good for a burg of our size. And there's so much more work going on. Come down and just enjoy the architecture. Find something on sale, get a treat. Lots of great places.
You know the history of your building? Faribault back in the summer?
The turn of the century, I want to say somewhere between 1909, 1914, somewhere in that. I've seen pictures from when it was a lumber yard back
Okay, I
in
was
the
just going
20s.
to ask if it was a bar, because it seems to be...
It's been a lot of things. I don't think it was ever a bar. I know it was a TV repair shop, and I think even Reineke Real Estate was in there at one time. But way back, I think originally it was a lumber yard, and our parking lot on our west side was a gate. It was actually the lumber yard for it.
Should have said a saloon.
And recently improved, right, Jeremy, with the chimney removed for a little more room for parking there. That's something we had in common this week. Actually, I had a 3-story chimney come out of my house this week. And the old joint we're fixing up was built in 1890 when they started that one, and then 2 chimneys coming down this week for 2 guys in this room. I'm thinking the odds are pretty tight on that, to have that happen.
Well, it all seemed to come down pretty well, but yeah, there was some problems with our building, so we're making improvements just like many of the other downtown buildings. So
Tomorrow, Jerry will be on the road. He'll be in Claremont. Alcorn is celebrating 20 years. Time flies. And he'll be over in Claremont broadcasting tomorrow. That concludes today's edition of AM.